Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Veg Grower Podcast. My name's Richard and each week I share with you my journey of growing food in my allotment and my kitchen garden. Except this week we're not in the allotment or in the kitchen garden because I've made my annual trip up to Birmingham to the NEC for this year's Gardeners' World Live. Now unfortunately this is the last time it is being held at the NEC. It's moving location, but I think the location next year is going to be even better. However, what we're seeing here, I'm already in the beautiful borders and I can already see there's lots of vegetables incorporated in the design of these gardens. You know how much I love the idea of incorporating vegetables and making them look good, but incorporating vegetables into the garden is what it's all about. I can see one garden in front of me. This is from sowing to sowing, which features a sewing machine at one end, but it also incorporates, we've got chard, we've got a mix of ornamentals incorporated in with a good amount of vegetables. Just in front of that we have another garden which I noticed had a lot of vegetables, including a bucket of potato plants, which looks fantastic. This is called To Be Continued, which is very apt because I don't think a garden is ever completed. But we've got herbs, we've got nasturtiums, we've got strawberries, we have got pumpkins and rhubarb and a bug hotel. And it's all incorporated to look really quite pleasant. What I love about this is that I could spend hours talking about what I'm seeing here and I don't think it would do any justice. You really do have to go check out the Instagram pages of all the featured gardens here to really take in what I'm talking about, but it really does show us what we could be doing in our own gardens to make them look amazing. And I'm talking our vegetable gardens. I'm on a big thing at the moment, as I've said, to try and push good looking vegetable gardens. Well, as you know, when I visit these shows, there's always one person I absolutely love talking to, and she has a show garden here. Once again, we first caught up with our first show garden at Bewley this year. It's the lovely Lucy.
Oh, hello, Richard. It's lovely. You're lovely as well, and it's so nice to see you. We've just had a big hug because it's so nice to come to these shows and do this work. But what I absolutely adore as well is seeing my gardening friends and catching up with you. But yes, we're at the beautiful border, the metre border that I've created with De Graaf Mensa, Newsround presenter. He's here somewhere or other doing various stage work. And yeah, here we are. We finished it.
I've got to admit,
good.
I've got to admit, as soon as I saw it, I didn't even realise it was your garden, but I was just taken away straight away.
Oh, thank you.
So let's talk us through. We've got a raised bed, but broken down into metre squares.
Yes, we have. It's in a horseshoe shape, so that people can literally come into the garden, walk in, and within there we've got 9 square metres, all delineated by some timbers. So the public can come up and see it, either the whole garden and think, oh, I'll take away the whole garden ideas, or they can just look at 1 square metre of this and think, right, I can just recreate or be inspired by one of these square metres. And that's the whole point of the campaign, make a metre matter. You know, if you can just convert 1 metre of your outdoor space into somewhere where plants can thrive and grow, then that's a brilliant thing. And of course for me, it's a grow your own themed garden as well, because for me, if you can grow it and eat it, hey, that's a win, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's the whole point of this podcast. We grow it, we eat it.
Yeah.
Now, what I really love is that each metre is really jam-packed with everything.
We've made them matter, Richard. We've made the metres matter.
Let's talk through each metre and explain what the theme is in each metre.
Of course. Well, so at the front, I've lured people in with some speedy veg ideas, because kids, I've got a daughter, they can be a little bit impatient. Their attention span can wane a little bit. So we're trying to get them involved in growing really quick to mature leaves. So we've got some eggheads, which have been so popular. I should say also that De Graaf had to boil the eggs in his hotel room kettle to get them hard boiled, because we suddenly realised that we couldn't actually empty them out unless they were boiled. So he did that. I scooped them out. I've put googly eyes on their silly faces. So we've got that. I know it's a age-old method with it. The kids love that. Then we've got quick leaves, like we've got lots of lettuce. We've got, in 3 big pots, we've got MMM. See what I did there?
Yeah.
For the Make a Metre Matter campaign, all depicted in very quick growing spinach leaves. We've got some tactile mints. It's all sensory, so the kids can, like the Corsican mint, the smell of that. Have you had a little rub?
Oh, I'm going to.
Go in there, and then have a sniff.
Oh, that
Isn't that
smells amazing.
It's amazing, and for kids to then realise that a little tiny plant, if you know Corsican mint, it's so diminutive, but the hit of scent and flavour it can give you is wonderful. So we're trying to get kids involved. There's lots of colour, there's flowers. We've got tagetes, we've got dahlias, pea shoots. Kids like peas. So so that's the first section. Getting kids involved, quick ideas.
All in 1 metre so far.
All in 1 metre, yes. The next metre is the pizza and pasta section. So we've got all the ingredients that kids are familiar with when they eat their meals. We're showing them how they grow. So tomatoes, basil, rocket. This little tiny at the front, micro tom. It's literally the size of. It's about 3 centimetres high and about 10-15 centimetres wide, and it's smothered in little red cherry fruits, perfect for kids. So pizza pasta ingredients, we're just trying to educate children. This is what the plants look like. You can grow your own. You know, who wouldn't want to grow that little tiny tomato?
It's a stunning looking tomato as well.
Isn't it good? And no training needed, nothing at all. So that's a real good entry level thing for, if you've got parents or grandparents listening, micro tom. Brilliant. Get some seeds of that and get your little ones growing that, because it doesn't need any fancy training. It's no side shooting or training required. It's a beautiful little thing. It takes up the space of about, 15 square centimetres. That's it. So
I'll add a link in the show notes for that tomato if anybody is interested.
well done. Well done. So this is the third and final section for children. We've got grow your own smoothies, because again, kids, they love smoothies. I've got iced lollies over there. You can freeze the fruits, puree them, put them into a lolly mould. So we've got the classic. We've got the blueberry, which has got loads of nutrients in it. We've got lots of strawberries, but we've also snuck in a few greens. We've got some kale in there. We've got some beets. We've got some parsley. So if kids want to get some greens into their diet, they can. If they want to. And then, so that's the 3 metres of the kids section. And then we've got another 3 metres that's devoted to urban and rental growers, because this is a Birmingham show and it's very, very, it's a huge big city, Birmingham. And so we're mindful that the footfall of the show might be visitors who have got, like I say, either balconies or courtyards, not many beds to plant into. So this is very heavily container-led. And again, we've got 3 zones within this. So we've got like an eco-warrior zone, so someone who lives in the city but they're so mindful of the planet and they want to conserve as much as they can. So we've got lots of fabric planted, we've got no plastic or plastic labels, we've got wooden labels, we've got coir pots. I'm going to put some seed. I haven't made the seed bombs yet. They might appear by the weekend, but they can do some guerrilla gardening just to chuck the seeds into roundabouts and stuff like that. So that's someone who's really, really passionate about the planet and the environment.
Yeah.
Then we've got someone who is, for the next metre, we've got someone who's a party goer. So Richard, this is your zone.
This is my zone, absolutely.
Yeah.
Quite literally the same barbecue I've got at home.
Well, I tell you what, word to the wise, we discussed this before we started recording, the egg-shaped barbecues, the ceramic ones, and they are quite pricey, but little. Do one for £80. So Richard and I both saw that opportunity, and you've got one at home, I've got one at the show garden. I might well take it home because they're stunning. But this is someone who, again, very small space, but they want to entertain, they want to have parties. We've got cocktail glasses, we've got all the foodie elements here. So we've got things like sweet corn that you can put on the barbecue, we've got aubergines that you can griddle, tomatoes, we've got some herbs to flavour stuff, we've got some chilies, we've got peppers, we've got all that kind of stuff that people as vegetables might throw on a barbie. And then finally, for the urban sort of area, we've got someone who maybe eats out in restaurants a lot. So they're very familiar with more unusual, quirky, chefy foods. So we've got my beloved Malabar spinach there. We've got some cucamelons. We've got some kailan, which is that wonderful Asian leaf, like a kind of like a very quick growing broccoli. We've got amaranth, herbs. Again, they inject a real hit of flavour into dishes. We've got Japanese parsley. So this is quite an unusual section, and I'm loving. People are really interested in these plants. But yeah, that's like a gourmet sort of like trendy veg.
Sure.
Yeah, and then the final. Sorry, there's a lot here, isn't there? But the final sort of 3 metres is devoted to fruit, because I think fruit is so underrated and underrepresented in the gardening world.
Yeah.
And also, this show, it's June. Fruit are doing their thing in June. So we've got a section which is devoted to how you can train fruit into beautiful shapes. We've got some gorgeous apples that have been trained into pyramids, almost like fan-trained 2-dimensional pyramids. We've got strawberries, we've got blackcurrants, we've got all sorts of things in pots. And it just has drawn people into how striking and beautiful these plants can look, not just in the summer, but also in the winter and the spring when they're flowering. Living art, it's a wonderful thing to do, and it can be done in a very compact space.
And that's been something I've recently been talking about on the podcast, and how we can make a vegetable garden look stunning by training fruit into these weird shapes.
And it's easy to do. I know when people see this, first of all, they look, I can't do that. You can. You just need an eye for symmetry, some bamboo canes and some wire. A wall or a fence makes it easier, but these are freestanding ones.
Yeah.
And just a bit of patience, and it's so rewarding. Gardeners, we are supposed to have patience. I know these days patience is maybe not quite such a virtue that we all possess, but it's such a satisfying thing to do. So that looks stunning. And then we can move on to another metre that's about forest gardening, because again that's very on trend. Mm-hmm. You can have a square metre forest garden, and this is all about superfruits. So we've got some blackcurrants, we've got blueberries, we've got pomegranates. We've got a chestnut that you can grind the nuts of that and make flour. We've got some rowan. We've got figs, mulberries, all sorts of amazing fruits that can be grown in small spaces. Dwarf mulberries, we can easily do that. And there's chestnut, you can keep it compact by pruning it. So that's superfoods. So you can get a real health kick from this 1 square metre.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so good, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And then finally, we've just got microfruit. Anyone who's just got a small plot and they don't want to do anything faffy, they just want to put a fruit in a pot, don't want to train it. We've got strawberries, we've got a beautiful gooseberry that my friend Simon donated to me. Thank you so much, Simon. It's taking pride of place. So if you can grow fruit in small spaces. And can I do a couple of thanks very quickly?
Of course you can.
Thank you. So John Wheatley is a mammoth name in horticulture, and he's my hero because he grew by far 99% of the plants for this garden, and he is such a gent because I had a few gaps missing to tell the story that I was trying to tell, and he went above and beyond to secure some more plants for me. And so John, thank you hugely from the bottom of my heart, because this is a team effort. This is definitely a team effort. And also Jurassic Plants supplied an awful lot of the plants for this forest garden area. They're a wonderful nursery, wonderful people. They also supply little tiny plants that are very affordable, but they will, with patience and time, grow into big things. And also, I just shout out to De Graft. He's been here, there, everywhere on the stage. He's he's doing some fantastic work to promote the Make a Matter campaign. He's a lovely guy to work with. We've had such fun putting this garden together. It's been a journey, Richard, and now I'm smiling because it's the garden's complete. I can relax.
And I have to say, it really does look absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you.
It's my favourite garden so far.
Oh, well, that's lovely to hear. Thank you. And it's so nice to see you. I hope life's treating you well, and thank you for taking the time to have a chat with me. Yet again, it's lovely of you.
No problem. We'll go see what other gardens we can find. Well, I'm just going to interrupt this podcast and ask, if you are enjoying this podcast, then please rate and review on your podcast provider. It only takes you a few seconds, but it means the world to us. Now, added to that, if you are also enjoying this podcast and you want to help support the work that we do, encouraging more people to grow their own food, then please consider becoming a member of the Veg Grower Podcast Supporters Club. For just £5 a month, you get access to extra behind-the-scenes podcasts that give you an idea of what's going on here at the Veg Grower Podcast HQ. Along with that, once a month, you also receive our seed pack. And that seed pack contains a collection of seeds that I have carefully chosen to be sown. And you also get a copy of our mini newspaper. This mini newspaper gives you instructions on how to sow the seeds that I've just mentioned, but it also acts as a bit of a tool, giving you a guide of what you can be doing that month and other seeds that you can sow. And all that is just £5 a month. Now, as an example, over this last week we have sown some kale and we have sown some parsley, both perfect for sowing at this time of year, especially as they're going to give us harvests for a very long time. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, please head to the veggrowerpodcast.co.uk. Right, let's get back to Gardener's World Live. Well, I've had to drag myself away from the show gardens. They are just fantastic, every single one of them. The trouble is, I always want to look at them and I get so many ideas that I want to do in my own garden that I basically feel like I need to rip out my garden and start again. We're not going to do that, of course. We're just going to work with what we've got. Now, because of that, I have had a good wander around the stalls who sell many of their items. And I, of course, brought a few items that are going to help me in my own garden, a few more tools and a few more great fun stuff that's just going to add a little bit of personality to my vegetable garden, as well as a few plants. But we'll discuss that in later episodes. There are lots of talks, and there's even a Grow Your Own stage this year that run by Garden Organic, which is absolutely fantastic to see that Grow Your Own is starting to be making its presence known at these sort of events. And I've sat in on quite a few of the talks. I've learned a lot of things. I've also been inspired to look at things a little bit differently as well. So I've really enjoyed the talks. One talk that I did sit in was with the Cayley brothers, who are known for their mushrooms, and they produce mushroom growing kits. Now, one of the things I love about coming to these sort of shows is we get the chance to see other things that we could grow. And there's one thing that has been doing the rounds quite a lot lately, it's mushrooms. Now, listeners might know I'm actually allergic to mushrooms, so it's not something I can grow myself, but my wife did grow a collection of mushrooms a few years ago from the Cayley brothers. And we're with Jodie today, who's going to talk to us about growing mushrooms. Jodie, lovely to see you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time to chat. But yeah, we're really enthusiastic about growing all different kinds of mushrooms, whether you want to eat them or add them to your garden. You know, we're here for various projects to get you growing.
How did the mushroom business start? Because it's quite an interesting story behind that.
Oh, it is. So we started growing because we wanted to eat them and we couldn't buy them at the time. We read cookbooks for fun and we were coming across all these exciting mushrooms and they just weren't available in the supermarket. We were searching online and came across a website that said how to grow mushrooms on coffee. And I worked in restaurants in Brighton and thought, well, I've got access to coffee grounds. I feel like I should be able to grow some mushrooms. Obviously not knowing how they grew at all. It's not something that we're taught at school. But you just get some spores or spawn, essentially the seeds of the mushroom gathered on a nutritious substrate like grain or sawdust, and you add it to more nutrition, so whether that's oyster mushrooms and coffee or sawdust for something like a lion's mane, and then you go on and grow.
It really is that easy just to grow them. That's simple.
It is, yeah. Mushrooms are nature's decomposers, recyclers, so they will grow on any organic material. So whether that's books or straw or sawdust or cardboard or your old jeans and clothes, they will use it as their nutrition. Now, for something like cardboard or jeans, it's not the most nutritious, so you won't get the biggest crop, but you can absolutely use it to grow your mushrooms.
And you actually sell kits growing these, which of course is what you're trying to promote here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is used in those?
So we use hardwood sawdust in our kits. It's the most nutritious, so you'll get the biggest volume of mushrooms off it. So we grow fresh mushrooms wholesale and for restaurants, and then we make the grow kits, and then and the best part is teaching people how to grow their own, really empowering people with their own knowledge and ability to do it, because we understand that these kits are perhaps not the most financially viable way to grow a lot of mushrooms for big families. They want a lot of volume, and we want people to be able to do that for themselves, whether it's on just hardwood pellets or straw or sawdust. You know, they can really get going and get growing a good crop of lots of exciting mushrooms.
And they're not hard work, as you said. You overwater them and it's not a problem.
That's it. You cannot overwater a mushroom. If you think about when you see them out in the wild, it's after heavy sustained rainfall. So that water's really important to their process. But they also don't want to hide away in the dark. So have them on the kitchen side, have them next to your kitchen sink, in the bathroom, somewhere visible where you remember to water them. And just with a daily spritz of water, you'll be cropping your mushrooms just within 3 weeks. So it's very short term. You'll also get cycles of mushrooms out of your kit. Something like an oyster will last 3 or 4 months. plants, 3 crops of mushrooms, and then it's ready for the compost.
So you get quite a bit out of them then.
Yeah, that's it. The way you know the volume of mushrooms you're going to get is by the weight of what you're growing on. So if you just buy a small 1 kilo kit, it's not overwhelming for maybe a smaller household. But if you're all about the volume of mushrooms and bigger growing, think about a 2.5 or 5 kilo mushroom block. You're going to get a really good volume of mushrooms off that.
That's interesting. So I was going to ask, how much room does each kit take up? I guess that's going to depend on the size.
That's it. It's just the square of the block of sawdust that you're going to grow on, or the sawdust or the book. You can grow in logs on outside, so that's a larger volume of mushrooms, a nice log pile, damp, shady corner of your garden, and over several years you'll get a really good volume of mushrooms.
Chopping all the veggies, sizzle in the air. Chef's got with the magic, smells are everywhere. Water starts to boil, onions hit the pan. Recipe of the week, let the feast begin. Cooking with Chef Scott, flavors come alive. Tune in every week for a tasty bite.
Well, this week's recipe doesn't include mushrooms, I'm afraid, but it does include courgettes, something that we are going to be eating a lot of over the coming weeks. This is a griddled courgette with lemon, garlic and herbs, and this is a delicious but easy meal to make. What we do is we simply take 2 medium courgettes and we slice them thinly lengthways into thin strips. We brush over the strips with olive oil and season with a bit of salt and pepper, and then we place those in a hot griddle pan and cook those until chard lines appear. Then we turn them over and do the same. Once they are cooked like that, we pop them to one side, and in a separate bowl we mix together 1 clove of crushed garlic along with the zest and juice of half a lemon. We then pour that over the courgettes and toss the courgettes so they all get mixed over with the dressing. And then we finish it off just by scattering over some chopped fresh herbs. You can use any herbs you want for this. Mint, parsley or basil are some that I recommend. But that is it. Really simple, but delicious at the same time. Go give it a try. Let me know how you get on. Well, we started at the beginning of this podcast with the lovely Lucy, who I mentioned runs a podcast called Talking Heads. But she also has a co-presenter on that. Co-presenter, is that the right word?
No idea. General slave, or I don't know, PA. You know, the other half of the podcast.
Other half.
Call us that.
It's Mr. Saul Walker. Saul, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. It's hot, isn't it, Richard? It's about 26. It's going to get hotter this weekend. But actually, it's nice to have this. And we've got a bit of a breeze. And we're in this new all singing, all dancing marquee for 1 year, which I think has set off the plants really very nicely.
I have to say, normally I find this marquee to be a little bit clangy. It's not this year.
It's quite oppressive, isn't it, usually? And this year it feels a bit more like a proper flower show in some ways. Set off the plants nicely. What's really good is we do these plant expert tours in the morning, and generally in the other hall it's massive, so I have to run them around. It's almost like a workout trying to show people the plants. Here we can just saunter around, see the plants, have a discussion. Yeah, it's a much nicer way of doing a tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you've been on the Plant Experts stand all day, and people come up and ask you questions about their plants.
They do, yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully, plants. We sort out marriages occasionally, and kids. We answer the big questions about whether they should have kids. No, really, it's all about plants. yeah.
But you can ask about kids should you want to come next year.
Well, you can. Whether we answer, I have no idea, to be honest, Richard. Yeah. No, it's all plants. We've had some very good questions. Been a bit quieter than usual, I think, because of the new tent and the new layout. Maybe people haven't found us. Well, that's some nice questions today. Generally on establishing new problems with plants, establishing new plants. I definitely think this is our 10th year, Lucy. 10th year. I think it's our 10th year. And I think we've definitely noticed over the years that climate change is playing a huge role in plant problems. Establishment, pest disease, plants not really liking the conditions, the huge amount of rain we might get at one point of the year, the drought we get at others. I think a lot of the problems we're seeing is down to that. And one of the problems with it is that I can't give an answer. because 25 years ago when I trained, the world was a bit more stable and you would know what everything was doing in 5 years. And the key with gardening is you need that stability to have a good garden 5-10 years ago. Now that things are changing every year and the weather changes and then the climate in general changes, I don't know what to say sometimes. I think there's got to just be a lot more experimentation, sucking and see, getting used to failures. I've always said that I learn more from the failures that I have in my garden than I do from the successes. But yeah, it's interesting. I think that's where a lot of our questions are coming from. Yeah.
Well, that was going to be the first question to ask you, which has been what has been the most commonly asked question, and the fact that people are having trouble establishing plants kind of rings true with what I'm seeing as well. That spring was just very dry this year. It was drought conditions, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this year we've had massive amount of rain for about 2 months over winter. Then it stopped, and then it got dry, and then it got hot. It's been quite a wet, cold start to June, which is not great. You know, we want plants to be thriving at that point. So actually, we do want a bit of sun then, establishing from the spring rains. And then now it's going hot again. I don't know. It just doesn't really have this sort of general feel of a cycle that we used, seasonality that we used to have, that makes it easy to know when to put plants in, how to establish them, when to water, when to feed. And I think these issues are being more expressed in the problems people are having.
Yeah, so I can see why that's been a problem for many people. And when you really think about it as well, it's all there. What about pests? Any questions about pests and diseases?
Yeah, we've had a lot of aphids as usual. I think people get very sketchy about aphid damage because it looks bad. Actually, in general, the plants pretty much resist it and sort of grow on. So it's more an aesthetic problem than anything. I had a really interesting one about scale. I think is it toenail scale or something like that it's called. It looks like... I know you've got a PG podcast here, Richard. It looks like bird poo,
Right.
basically, on the undersides of leaves, and people think it looks really nasty. And it is. But again, it's a problem that I don't think we can alleviate by pure eradication. It's all about management.
Yeah.
Pest management,
Yeah.
rather than eradication, is the way we should be going. You know, identify things early and deal with them then, and that means looking at your plants in March and April, not suddenly remembering you've got a garden in June and then it's full of problems. Just dealing with it then and there. And that means just little interventions at that point save you a massive headache in the long run.
Yeah, and I think that also rings true with trying to encourage predators in to deal with the aphids and things like that much earlier. Much earlier.
Just have a diverse garden. You know, grow lots of stuff, shrubs, trees, herbaceous bulbs, just different layers, different parts of the year. That's the other key. Don't focus just on one part of the year. And then just, have a nice diverse looking, and you'll attract all these things in, and you should sort out all those problems in the long run.
Yeah. Absolutely. What about any questions that you've had with particular plants? Anything in particular?
Do you know, not really. We've had a few idents. I've got to say, we usually have a lot more weed idents. I suspect that everyone's been weeding recently. Maybe they've managed to eradicate their weeds. Some people definitely want specific plants to grow for specific looks. I had a really nice question on purple leaf trees yesterday that people want to grow. So, yeah. I think it's specific looks that people are looking for. We haven't had enough ident questions. I really like the ident questions where you get a plant on a phone and you have to identify it. We haven't had enough of those, so I need more. If anyone's listening, and this is going out after the show probably, isn't it, Richard? It is, yeah. Come next year to the new Packington Estate show. I'll drop that in. And bring lots more pictures of plants that need idents, because you really need to test me and Lucy a little bit more than you are.
I will make a point of doing that now, just to really challenge you.
Please challenge me. I love it when I'm stumped, because I go away and I have a really good research about things. So please stump me a little bit more.
Fantastic. Well, it's been, as always, pleasure finding out all these questions that you've had. I always think it's really good that you are on this stall, because you and Lucy are both a font of all knowledge. And it's so good to see when people come up and asking you questions that you're able to answer them 99% of the time, is that fair?
I'd say 99% of the time we are accurate. About 1% of the time.
You heard it from the horse's mouth.
Oh, I just want to say, Richard, tune in to Richard's lives on Sunday evenings, Instagram or Facebook. I really enjoy them. We answer lots of questions, and then he goes into his kitchen and cooks something up. It's quite fascinating. It's much better than Songs of Praise or Antiques Roadshow. Go to Richard, go to his YouTube, isn't it? And
YouTube, Facebook,
Instagram. Yeah, look out for it. I love it.
Yeah, we often see you in the audience, and we love having the interaction with that as well. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Richard.
Cheers. Well, I'm back home now, and I have thoroughly enjoyed my trip to Gardener's World Live. That was, of course, Saul Walker at the end there. Just rounding it off, I absolutely love hearing about the questions that he receives. I often stand by his desk during the show, and I often hear members of the public come up with some very interesting questions throughout the day. So if you are going next year, please do make a visit to the Plant Expert stand. It is at a different location next year, but it's certainly, in my opinion, going to be better, and I'm looking forward to it already. We of course have Autumn Fair in September, and then in May next year, Spring Fair as well. Just to round out, I think the Gardener's World Lives are the good shows for gardeners, in my opinion. There is something there for everybody, and I have a great time. Well, I'm going to wrap this podcast up for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please leave us a rate and review on your podcast provider. It only takes you a few seconds, but it means the world to us. If you've also enjoyed this podcast, you want to help support the work that we do, then please consider becoming a member of the Veg Grower Podcast Supporters Club. Details on that on our website at theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk, which is, of course, our website. Now, on our website, you can also contact us through leaving a comment on the bottom of a blog post or by leaving us a voicemail. We haven't had any voicemails for a while, but we would certainly love to hear some. Added to that, you can always email me, richard@theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk. We would love to have some emails from you as well, because we always enjoy hearing from you. Alternatively, you can also find me on social media. Just search for the Veg Grower Podcast and I'm sure to come up. And I think that just about wraps everything up. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back again next time. So until then, please take care.